close friend of mine, Joe Dean, who travels for Converse, the company who make the shoes you wear. We'd rather use some, other shoes maybe, but we can't because of him. But he played for LSU for 3 years, made all SEC 3 years in a row. One of the few players that has ever made all that Southeastern Conference 3 years in a row. And then played 4 or 5 years for Phillips Oilers. And now conducts clinics all over the South for Converse. He happened to be coming through today, and I'd ask him to stop by here. Speak to you all for 15 minutes maybe. He's here, and I'd like to introduce to you now Joe Dean.
Thank you, Coach. My pleasure. I'm going to take about 20 minutes of your time. I'd like to visit with you a little bit. Tell you 3 or 4 things. Maybe I can get something across to you. I don't know. I hope I can. Usually when they introduce me, they always say, that this is Joe Dean, and he played with Bob, because that means he played with me. And I brought him along slow and tried to make a ball player out of him. And I'd say, I did a good job, I thought, very frankly. I can remember he's like all big men. Bob Pettit, wanted that ball. Those postmen, they all want that basketball. They want you to give them that ball. We're playing Vanderbilt in Nashville. And, he'd run along there about 30 a night. Liked to hear that string music. Loved it. Wanted to put it in the hole. Getting about 30 a night, maybe 32 or 3. He was second or third leading scorer in the nation at this point. Vanderbilt put a boxing one on us. They were man for man and me. And they had him in one on each arm, one on each leg. Is about what it amounted to. And I couldn't get the ball to the man. Nobody else could. They were just all over it. And he came to me at the foul line. He said, Joe, you're not getting the ball to me. Because don't you like a guy that's hungry? See, he really wanted it. He wanted that ball. I said, I tell you, Bob, I just can't get it to you. I said, this guy's hanging all over you. It's just almost impossible. And so, he accepted it. We won a little bit more, and he finally, about 2 or 3 minutes later, he said, Joe, look, I got to have that ball. You got to get that ball to me. I said, Bob, I just can't do it. I just can't get it to you. There's a guy on each arm, one on each leg in there. Of course, we had 3 other guys that couldn't throw in the ocean if they're standing on the beach. But you got blacksmiths on every ball club. You probably got a blacksmith or 2. I don't know who you are. But there are people like that, and we had our share. They pumped up a few. So finally I said, look, Bob, I said, I can beat my man. He's only one guy guarding me. I said, I can beat my man, and I can get the shot up. I said, that's what we're going to start doing. Now, I said, now, I'm not going to miss many. But the ones I miss, I said, if you want to get your average, I said, you start eating the glass on the banking board, and you'll get a chance to get your 30. Well, he wasn't too sure about that, and they held him to his all-time low of 9 points. But from that time on, he started eating glass like he liked it. Because this guy wanted to be a great basketball player. And that's what you've got to do. I see guys all the time. They want to get that 30, that 35, but they don't want to do the hard work. I got a boy, he's 12 years old. You know what? We play all the games in my backyard. 1-on-1, hard, 21, round the world, all those games. And I'm 36 years old. My boy's never beat me. I blow him out every time we play. You know why I'm in? I'm better than he is. That's why I beat him. I stick him in the hole. Because I'm that tough. I can get it done. Because when my wife says, please let that boy go, he comes in crying and all that jazz. Hey, I wouldn't have shown up, gentlemen, if I didn't want to win the game. See, I wouldn't have shown up. That's why I walked out in the backyard. That's why you walked out here today, I guess. You're lucky, really. You don't realize this because you're young. As you get older, you'll start realizing it more and more all the time. You're real lucky and you don't even know it. Most of these boys eat free, I guess, don't they, Coach? Living pretty good. Hound a hog, they call it. You're real lucky. I'll tell you why you're lucky. Because you got a chance to really do something here. You got a chance to accomplish something. It's kind of fantastic. I can remember a boy coming up to me when I was in college saying, Joe, he said, you going to go to the college dance there tonight? I said, no. I said, Jimmy, I can't go. I said, I got a team. It was the biggest dance of the year. They called that some big name for it. I don't remember just what it was. And he said, you never have been in one of those days. I said, no, I never had. I never had. Hadn't been in those deals. He said, boy, it's kind of tough being an athlete, isn't it? He said, you missed all the good times in college. You hadn't had any fun. I said, well, I never really thought about it like that. I said, I guess you're right. And I was kind of feeling sorry for myself, fellas. I thought, my goodness, I've gone through here almost 4 years of college and didn't have any fun. And as I was walking away from him, he said, hey, Joe, he said, I just thought I'd mention it. He said, I'd trade places with you tomorrow. if I could. But he said, I just can't do what you can do. It's just impossible. You know, the toughest part of doing what you have to do is playing defense. You know why? When you get out in the backyard and play by yourself, what do? You take a ball and shoot it at the basket, don't you? You ever get down like this just all by yourself and guard that guy out there? Huh? No, because you tell somebody think you're crazy if they saw you. Wouldn't you? So automatically this makes the offense the fantastic part of the game, doesn't it? Nobody ever gets down like this until they look at the numbers, look at the belt line, never take their eyes off their man, really get with it, do they? They never do that. Because when you really get down to it, it's not any fun. And it takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to be a real tough defensive basketball player. They divide the court in half. I didn't invent the game, somebody else did, but it's been divided in half. Half the game, you're going to spend it on defense. You know whether you like it or don't like it. That's where you will be. There'll be a handful of you that will have the guts to get it done. The majority of the people I've seen in my life do not have the guts and the courage to get it done. Because you know what you really have to do? You have to take a guy's jockey and pull it and step up in it. Get right up in it. That's what you've got to do. And you think you're through, but you're not through. He exhales, you inhale. And I've had him with bad breath. I'm telling you, it's tough. But that's what you've got to do if you want to get it done. Most of you aren't willing to do it. Because it's tough. Because everybody wants the game to be easy. And it isn't. I don't care where you come from or what. That's just the way it is. Most people do not want to play defense because it's the hard part of the game. You know what? You think if you get your 25, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. What kind of outside shooter you, Red? How about you, son? I'm disappointed in both of you. I want you to know it. Barry. If you don't believe it, I don't believe it. I'll tell you that. If you don't believe you can stick it in the hole, nobody else in the world does. Just thought I'd mention it. I'd like to guard you for a living. I was kind of a Jekyll and Hyde guy myself. Wore my glasses, carried my little books along to class. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make them pretty good grade. But when I walked through that dressing room door, I don't know what happened to me. I just swelled up. I got big all of a sudden. They called me Brutus. I got so powerful. Hey, I thought I was the greatest, Red! I believed it! And I was trying to convince everybody out there that I was the greatest. Because I believed I was the greatest. You the greatest, Red? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you! And from this moment on, you are. It's the only way I know you can get it done. If you don't believe that you are, nobody else does. Every time you know what shooting is? Confidence. That's all it is. Believing you can put it in a hole. That's all it is. I've shot him and just watched it. It just curved for me to go in because I knew it was going to go in. I don't know why. It just did. It's fantastic. I can't explain it to you. Believing that you can do it. It's fantastic. You know what the difference really between being great and average is, really? It's the will to win. Wanting to achieve. That's what the difference is. A lot of people don't really want to achieve it because it takes dedication. And it takes hard work. It takes believing, wanting to accomplish it. Most people, truthfully, not just basketball players, I meet them every day. They're not really willing to pull that jockey and they get up in it because it's tough. It's tough. Just like Skull Barnett told Hot Rod Hundley. Hot Rod said, "Switch, Skull." He looked up and it was the Big O, and he said, "Switch back, Hot Rod," because he didn't want no part of Big O. Tough. But the difference between being great and average, gentlemen, is the will to win, wanting to achieve it. I was on a basketball team one night in Moscow, Russia. We were down 9 points at the half, and they were knocking our jocks off. I'll tell you, it was a tough night's work. And this thing is very important. It means a lot to them. They use it tremendously. They make this thing into something unbelievable if they beat you. So at the halftime, we sat there trying to accomplish a few things, saying, what are we going to do defensively? What are we going to do offensively? What are we going to try to accomplish here in order to win the game? Really, defensively, we had to get with them when they walked out of their dressing room and go breath to breath with them. We had to become jockey pullers because we hadn't been doing it. But I think this will mean something to you.
As we walked out of the dressing room, the coach stopped us. He said, "Gentlemen," and I was 28, 29 years old. I wasn't a kid. He said, "Let's all get on our knees and just pray for 1 minute, each in your own way." And we did. And as we got up from this 1 minute little prayer, he said, "Fellas, just thought I'd mention it to you." He said, "They're not praying over in the other dressing room." We blew them out, man, the second half. Blew them out. Because the difference between being great and average is the will to win, wanting to do it, wanting to achieve it. Else, his senior year, he was fighting a boy from Maryland for the NCAA championship. And for 2 rounds, they cleaned his clock. I mean, the guy, he was definitely, they only fight 3 rounds at the college level. And at the end of 2 rounds, it looked, like he was going to lose the first fight he'd ever lost in his life, because they wear the headgears, and there's not a lot of knockdowns, and it's very difficult at the college level to whip a man, say, as far as knocking him down or knocking him out. The 3rd round, though, they had to stop the fight, because they had to pull this boy that I went to school with off of the other boy. He was about to kill him. His heart was that big. He couldn't, the thought of losing drove him wild. Difference between being great and average men's will to win, wanting to achieve it, wanting to get it done. They tell the story on a boy named Frank Carraway that played in a small eastern college. He was a football player and not a very good one. And he went through his whole college and he never, ever got in a game. Never got in a game. Never, ever actually got in a game. The night before his senior year, the night before his final team's game, final game for the season for his team, he went to the coach's home and he said, "Coach, please let me play tomorrow." He said, "I can help us win the game." He said, "I've never played in a game. I've been to every practice." And he says, if I could just play just a little, just to say I played in a college football game." And the coach said, "Well, we'll see somebody." He said, "I doubt it, because I've got to go by what you've done in practice. And you've never really shown me that. You've never really shown me that much." The game goes on, and as the story goes, his team's behind 7-3 or 7-6, whatever it was, I don't really know, but they were behind just a few points. And with a minute and a half to go, he pulled on the coach's sleeve. He said, "Coach, please put me in." He said, "I can help us win the game. I can help us win." And the coach later said, "I don't know why I put him in, but I did. I put Frank in." They were on the 20, 80 to go for a touchdown. They gave him the ball. He was a halfback. Took out around the end, got a little daylight, and knocked him out of bounds on the 50. Around a minute or maybe less to go. He said to the quarterback, "If you'll throw the ball as hard as you can throw it, I'll run as fast as I can run. I'll catch that ball and we'll beat this team." And the quarterback did it, and he caught it, and they won the game. They won the game. He's taking his stuff off in front of his locker. And the coach came up to him. He said, "Son, I've seen a lot of things in athletics, but I never saw anything like it. You knew you could do it. It was almost as if you knew you had to do it." He said, "Yeah, I knew I could, Coach. I knew that I could help us win the game. I knew that I could achieve it. I knew that I could help us win, because it meant everything to me." He said, "I never told you this, but," he says, "my mother died when I was a little fella. My daddy raised me. I was an only child. He only had 2 wishes for me in my whole life. That's all, just 2. He wanted to see me go to college and make good grades, and he said, 'I've done that, Coach. I'm going to graduate this June.' But he always wanted to see me play in a college football game. And he said, 'My dad died 2 weeks ago, Coach.' He said, 'I didn't tell you that.' And he says, 'But today, for the first time, I just felt like that I knew that my daddy could see me play from up there.' Because he said, 'You see, Coach, my dad was blind.' The difference between being great and average men is the will to win, wanting to achieve it. I don't know how bad you want it. I don't know how much it means to you. It's getting out here and running up and down this court as hard as you can run. Just running and running and running and running until you can't run anymore. Your legs feel like they're made out of lead. Your stomach hurts. Your heart's pounding out of your body. You want a drink of water, and you're tired. And you want to say, 'Boy, I gave it everything I had to give.' No, you haven't. You just think you have. Because this is where the difference becomes, the ones that make it and the ones that don't. Because that's when you get down on your knees and you start crawling up this court. Sure, they're bleeding. I know they're hurt. And I know you're dead tired. And boy, you look up and you say, 'Man, I'll give it everything I had to give. I gave it 100%. No, you haven't. Just think you have. You just think you have. You've just started. Get down on your belly and start crawling up this court. And crawl till it hurts. Until you can't crawl anymore. Until you just almost roll over dead. Then, at that point, you can look up and say to your teammates, who've got to mean a lot to you, to your fellow students, to your parents, to your coach, or coaches, to God, and say, I truthfully gave it everything I had to give. Then and only then can you say it. When you've done that, gentlemen, you belong. You have arrived. You are part of the program. Tremendous pleasure, Coach, for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, cut it, right. Thank you, Joe.
She wrote for that guy. They ought to call Louisville a little bit. What? Call Louisville a little bit. That play works twice.
That was 25 off an hour. An hour long. So that too. When he went out, he was doing like that. Those two didn't.
These are all freshmen.
All three?
Yeah.
Well, why can't they? They should have.
We were watching here out of the garden over there, weren't we? Drive on him, Smitty. That guy must have 30. He's got 30. He almost fouled him. Change your defense, you know?